world has lied to you. For years, you have been told that the secret to becoming unstoppable lies in the first hour of your morning. You have heard about the 5 a.m. club, the cold plunges, the frantic productivity, and the desperate race to beat the sun. But look around you. How many people follow these routines and yet remain shackled by anxiety? How many conquer their mornings only to be defeated by their own minds the moment they hit the pillow? The truth is that a house is only as strong as its foundation, and the foundation of your life is not laid when the sun rises. It is secured when the world goes dark. You are not unstoppable, yet because you have neglected the most sacred ritual of the human experience, the night. While the average person uses their final hours to drown in digital noise, to scroll through the lives of strangers, and to let the day's regrets fester in their subconscious, the Stoic does the opposite. The Stoic understands that the night is a battlefield. It is the time when you either consolidate your victories or surrender your peace. If you do not have a gatekeeper for your mind before you sleep, you are leaving your internal fortress wide open to the thieves of worry and doubt. Tonight, as you lie here, we are going to change that. We are going to install a guardian at the gates of your mind. We are going to peel back the layers of your daily chaos and reveal the steel underneath. You are not here to simply rest. You are here to reprogram. You are here to learn why your nights are the reason your days feel like a struggle. This is not just a routine. It is the reclamation of your power. For the next 10 minutes and for the hours of rest that follow, we will strip away the trivial and focus on the essential. By the time the sun touches your eyes again, you will not just be awake. You will be transformed. You will understand that being unstoppable is not about running faster. It is about standing on a foundation that nothing in this world can shake. Let the rain outside wash away the noise. Let the fire in this room be the only light you need. We begin now. 2,000 years ago, a man named Seneca, one of the wealthiest and most powerful men in Rome, would wait for his wife to fall asleep before he began his true work. He would not reach for a scroll or a glass of wine. He would reach into the depths of his own memory. He called this becoming the accountant of his own soul. Seneca understood a fundamental law of nature. That which is not measured cannot be improved. Most people live their lives as if they are passengers in a vehicle with no steering wheel. They react to the boss's anger. They react to the traffic. They react to the news. And then they wonder why they feel exhausted. They have no audit. They go to bed with the ledger of their life in complete disarray, a chaotic mess of unfinished business and unexamined emotions. But the Stoic night routine demands an audit. Before you allow sleep to take you, you must sit in judgment of the day, not as a cruel executioner, but as a wise mentor. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where was I weak? Where did I let my emotions cloud my judgment? This is the first step to becoming unstoppable. When you review your day with total honesty, you take away the power of your mistakes. Mistake that is hidden in the dark grows into a monster that keeps you awake at night. But a mistake that is brought into the light of your own examination becomes a lesson. By doing this, you clear the slate. You do not carry the baggage of Monday into Tuesday. You process the day so that the day does not process you. Imagine the power of a mind that is completely clear every single night. Imagine the clarity of waking up without the ghosts of yesterday haunting your thoughts. This is what it means to be the master of your internal kingdom. You are the judge, the jury, and the witness. You examine your actions, you accept your failures, and you plan your corrections. This 10-minute audit is the difference between a person who evolves and a person who merely ages. Tonight, as the embers of the fire glow, we will conduct this audit together. We will look at the hours that have passed, not with regret, but with the cold, calculating eye of a strategist preparing for the next move. there is a profound and somewhat startling Stoic practice that has been lost to the modern age. It is the practice of dying to the day. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, reminded himself every night that he might not wake up the next morning. To the modern ear, this sounds morbid, perhaps even depressing, but to the Stoic, it is the ultimate liberation. Why aren't you unstoppable yet? Because you are terrified of losing. You are terrified of time running out. You are terrified of things not going your way. This fear creates a tension in your body and a fog in your mind that prevents you from acting with true courage. But when you practice the voluntary death of the night, you kill that fear. When you lie down and tell yourself, I have lived my life, I have finished my course, you release the grip that the world has on you. You realize that everything you have achieved and everything you have suffered today is now part of the past. It is finished. By accepting the end of the day as a small death, you gain a perspective that the 99% will never understand. You realize that you own nothing but this present moment. This realization doesn't make you weak. It makes you dangerous. It makes you a person who cannot be bribed by the promise of tomorrow or intimidated by the threat of loss. When you have already died to the day, you can finally rest with a heart that is light and a mind that is still. You stop worrying about the reputation you have to maintain or the riches you have to gather. You are just a soul resting in the quietude of the universe. This is the secret to the quiet mind that so many seek, but so few find. They seek it through meditation apps or herbal teas, but the Stoic finds it through the brutal honesty of mortality. If this was your last day on Earth, would you be proud of how you handled that difficult conversation? Would you be satisfied with the effort you put into your craft? If the answer is no, do not despair. The beauty of the night routine is that it prepares you for a resurrection. But first, you must learn to let go. You must learn to leave the world outside your bedroom door. The city can scream, the markets can crash, and the opinions of others can swirl like a storm. But inside your fortress, there is only the silence of a life well lived and a day fully completed. One of the greatest enemies of your success is the unquiet mind. That voice that starts talking the moment the lights go out. It reminds you of that awkward thing you said 3 years ago. It warns you about a bill you haven't paid, and it creates imaginary scenarios of disasters that haven't happened yet. This is not your mind working for you. This is your mind working against you. To be unstoppable, you must train your mind to be a sentinel. In ancient Stoicism, there is a concept known as prosos, or constant watchfulness. This watchfulness does not sleep. During the day, it watches your impressions, making sure you don't get angry over things you can't control. But at night, the sentinel has a different job. It filters the thoughts that are allowed to enter your subconscious. Think of your mind as a garden. Whatever you plant in those final 10 minutes before sleep will grow in the dark. If you plant seeds of worry, you will wake up with a harvest of anxiety. If you plant seeds of resentment, you will wake up bitter. But if the sentinel at the gate only allows thoughts of virtue, strength, and acceptance, you will wake up with a mind like polished steel. You must consciously choose what to think about. This is where the 10-minute routine becomes your greatest weapon. You must tell your mind, we are no longer discussing the future. We are no longer debating the past. We are now preparing the soil for tomorrow's strength. This requires a level of discipline that most people simply do not possess. They are slaves to their thoughts. But you are different. You are a student of the porch. You understand that your thoughts are not you. They are merely suggestions from your brain. The sentinel at the gate looks at a worried thought and says, this is not useful. This is not under my control. You may not enter. By doing this, you create a sanctuary. You turn your bed into a place of power, not a place of torture. You begin to understand that the world cannot touch you. unless you give it permission. And as you watch the rain strike the window, you realize that your internal weather is entirely up to you. You are the architect of your own peace. Look at the image of the philosopher's bust resting on the chair. See how the heavy stone creates deep folds in the fabric. See how the cushion yields to the sheer weight of the sculpture. This is a metaphor for the Stoic life. The world is the chair, and your character is the stone. Most people are like feathers. They are blown about by the slightest wind of opinion or misfortune. They leave no mark on the world because they have no weight. They are light, superficial, and easily moved. But the Stoic is heavy. The Stoic has gravitas. When you practice the night routine, you are increasing your weight. You are hardening your character into something solid, something that doesn't just pass through life, but leaves a permanent impression on it. Why aren't you unstoppable yet? Perhaps because you are still too light. You care too much about what people think of you. You are too easily distracted by shiny objects. You are too fragile in the face of discomfort. The stone does not care if the room is cold. The stone does not care if the rain is loud. The stone simply is. It occupies its space with a quiet, undeniable authority. Tonight, as you listen to these words, I want you to feel that weight growing within you. I want you to feel your purpose, becoming as solid and unyielding as that weathered stone. Every time you review your day, you are carving away the soft, useless parts of your personality. You are chiseling away the laziness, the vanity, and the fear. It is a slow process, and it can be painful, but it is the only way to become a masterpiece. A masterpiece is not created by adding things. It is created by taking things away, until only the truth remains. You are stripping away the unstoppable version of yourself. You are realizing that you don't need more motivation. You need more weight. You need the kind of character that creates its own gravity, drawing success and peace toward it naturally. As you settle deeper into your own rest, feel the strength of that stone in your own spirit. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the solid foundation upon which your circumstances will be built. The chair may hold you, but you are the one who defines the shape of the seat. To become truly unstoppable, you must view your mind not as a collection of random thoughts, but as a complex architectural project that requires a daily structural audit. In the world of high-stakes engineering, no skyscraper is built without a constant review of its blueprints, and no bridge is trusted without testing its load-bearing capacity against the elements. Your character is no different. The reason you haven't reached your full potential yet is that you are trying to build a monumental life on a foundation that you haven't inspected in weeks. The Stoic night routine is your structural audit. It is the moment when the architect returns to the drawing board to see where the stress fractures are beginning to form. Every interaction you had today, every decision you made under pressure, and every emotional reaction you allowed to surface was a brick laid in the building of your destiny. If those bricks were laid in haste, or if the mortar was weakened by ego and impatience, the entire structure is at risk. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, you must look at your day with the cold, objective eye of a lead architect. You must ask, did I stay true to the original design of my virtues? Where did the pressure of the outside world cause me to compromise my integrity? Most people fear this level of scrutiny because they are afraid of what they might find, but the unstoppable individual craves it. They know that a flaw discovered at night is a disaster prevented tomorrow. This isn't about self-criticism. It is about quality control. By reviewing your day with this level of precision, you are ensuring that your internal skyscraper can withstand the storms of the market, the winds of public opinion, and the tremors of personal loss. You are shifting from being a person who merely survives their day to being a person who engineers their life. This architectural mindset allows you to detach from the emotions of the moment and focus on the long-term stability of your soul. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the master builder of your own reality. Let the rain outside be a reminder of the elements that your foundation must resist. Let the silence of the night be the space where you refine your blueprints for the day to come. You are not just sleeping. You are reinforcing the structure of a king. In the highest levels of global finance and strategic consulting, success is defined by the ability to manage risk and filter signal from noise. An unstoppable executive does not react to every fluctuation in the market. They operate from a core set of principles that remain unshakable regardless of volatility. Why aren't you unstoppable yet? Because your internal market is currently dominated by noise. You are giving your limited mental capital to things that offer zero return on investment. The opinions of critics, the fear of hypothetical failures, and the lingering frustration of past mistakes. This is a poor allocation of resources. The Stoic night routine serves as your personal risk management committee. Before you close your eyes, you must perform a portfolio rebalancing of your mind. You must identify which thoughts are assets and which are liabilities. A thought of resentment is a toxic asset. It drains your energy and offers nothing but decay. A thought of anxiety about the future is an unsecured loan with a predatory interest rate. It steals your peace today for a tomorrow that may never arrive. The unstoppable person understands that mental energy is the most valuable currency in existence. They do not spend it recklessly. Tonight, as the world goes quiet, you must audit your emotional investments of the last 16 hours. Ask yourself, where did I overpay in terms of my peace of mind? Which social debts am I carrying that I need to write off immediately? By doing this, you are practicing the art of ataraxia, or imperturbability. You are deciding that your internal wealth is not for sale. This level of professional detachment from the chaos of the world is what makes you a formidable force. While others are bankrupting themselves emotionally, you are accumulating the quiet capital of a steady soul. You are learning to treat your mind like a high-performance fund, where only the most productive, virtuous thoughts are allowed to remain. This is not a passive act. It is an aggressive defense of your most precious resource. As you settle into the stillness, feel the clarity that comes from liquidating your worries. You are clearing your ledger, ensuring that you wake up with a surplus of strength, rather than a deficit of spirit. The most advanced machines in the world, from aerospace systems to deep-sea submersibles, are built with a philosophy of redundancy and constant optimization. They are designed to function in the most hostile environments because they have internal systems that check, balance, and correct themselves in real time. To be unstoppable is to turn your mind into such a system. The reason you feel overwhelmed is that your operating system is cluttered with legacy, code, outdated habits, reactive impulses, and defensive mechanisms that no longer serve your mission. You are running on software that was designed for survival, not for mastery. The Stoic night routine is your system reboot. It is the phase where you clear the cache and optimize the processes that will run during your waking hours. In high-performance athletics and professional surgery, the post-operation review is where the real growth happens. It is where you analyze the friction points. Where did the human element fail the system today? Did your discipline lag during the mid-afternoon slump? Did your communication break down under the stress of a deadline? These are not failures. They are data points for optimization. An unstoppable mind is one that is constantly iterating. By using these 10 minutes before sleep to debug your day, you are creating a redundant character. You are building layers of mental resilience so that if one part of your plan fails, tomorrow the core of your being remains operational. You are moving from a state of fragility to a state of anti-fragility, where stress actually makes you stronger because your system knows how to process it into growth. Tonight, imagine your mind as a high-performance laboratory. The day's events are the raw materials, and your stoic reflection is the process that turns them into wisdom. You are stripping away the inefficiencies of your ego and leaving only the streamlined logic of your virtue. This is the professionalization of the self. You are no longer an amateur playing at life. You are a technician of human excellence, fine-tuning the most sophisticated instrument in the known universe, your own consciousness. Sleep is the period of integration, where the new code becomes part of your identity. Rest deeply, knowing that your system is being upgraded for the challenges ahead. In the corridors of power, the most respected leaders are those who possess total sovereignty over their time and their intent. They do not drift. They direct. They do not hope. They execute. If you are not yet unstoppable, it is likely because you have ceded your sovereignty to the demands of others and the whims of your own impulses. You have allowed your time, the only non-renewable resource you possess, to be colonized by the trivial. The Stoic night routine is your act of reclamation. It is the moment when you re-establish your borders and reassert your governance over your life. Every night is a transition from the public sphere of the day to the private kingdom of the soul. In professional governance, this is the time for a policy review. You must ask, did I spend my hours today according to my highest values? Or was I a servant to the urgent but unimportant? The Stoic understands that memento mori is not just a reminder of death, but a tool for executive prioritization. If you knew your time was strictly limited, would you have spent that hour in a state of irritation? Would you have wasted your focus on a petty grievance? By acknowledging the scarcity of your time every night, you sharpen your intent for the following day. You begin to develop a sovereign mind, one that is immune to the distractions of the masses. This is the hallmark of the high performer. They are not busy. They are intentional. They do not react. They respond from a position of strategic depth. Tonight, as the rain falls and the world fades away, I want you to feel the weight of your own sovereignty. You are the CEO of your existence, and your board of directors is composed of the great Stoic masters. They are not impressed by your excuses. They only value your integrity. Use this time to fire the habits that are sabotaging your mission. Promote the virtues that will lead you to victory. By the time you wake up, you will not be a worker returning to a job. You will be a sovereign returning to his domain. You are setting the corporate culture of your soul, ensuring that every thought and action tomorrow is aligned with the pursuit of excellence. The ultimate test of a professional is their ability to maintain composure when the stakes are at their highest and the pressure is most intense. In the military, this is called situational awareness. In the boardroom, it is executive presence. In Stoicism, it is ataraxia, a state of internal calm that is so profound it becomes a weapon. Why aren't you unstoppable yet? Because you are still easily rattled. You allow the external world to dictate your internal temperature. If the world is chaotic, you are chaotic. If the world is angry, you are angry. This makes you predictable and easy to manipulate. An unstoppable individual is the thermostat, not the thermometer. They set the temperature of the room. They do not reflect it. The Stoic night routine is where you calibrate your internal thermostat. It is where you practice the art of remaining mentally untouchable. Think of a pilot flying through a storm. They do not look at the clouds. They look at their instruments. Your instruments are your Stoic principles. The dichotomy of control, the pursuit of virtue, and the mastery of the self. Tonight, as you reflect on the turbulence of your day, I want you to realize that the storm was never the problem. Your reaction to it was, by reviewing the day's events from a distance, you are training your brain to stay in the high ground of logic rather than the low ground of emotion. You are developing the unshakable executive within you. This is the version of yourself that can look at a crisis and see an opportunity, that can hear an insult and feel only pity for the speaker. This level of mental fortitude is not a gift. It is a skill that is forged in the silence of the night. It is the result of thousands of nights where you chose to analyze your reactions instead of indulging in them. As the fire crackles and the shadows dance on the wall, feel that core of stillness growing within you. You are becoming a person who can be in the center of a hurricane and still have the clarity to make a perfect decision. This is true power. This is what it means to be unstoppable. You are not just closing your eyes for sleep. You are descending into the deep, quiet waters of your own strength, where no surface storm can ever reach you. In the world of high-level systems architecture, decoupling is a critical process where components are designed to remain independent, even when they interact. This ensures that a failure in one area does not trigger a catastrophic collapse across the entire network. To be truly unstoppable, you must apply this engineering principle to your own psychology. The reason you haven't reached your zenith is that your sense of self is too tightly coupled with the external world. When the world is volatile, you feel chaotic. When you face professional rejection, you feel internal worthlessness. When a project fails, you feel like a failure. This is a fatal design flaw in your character. The Stoic night routine is the process of strategic decoupling. It is where you remind yourself that the events of the day are external, variables that do not define the source code of your soul. You must learn to observe the events of your life with the same clinical detachment as a scientist observing a chemical reaction. You are the observer, not the reaction itself. Tonight, as the silence of the room envelops you, I want you to visualize the barriers between your core being and the noise of the marketplace. Think of yourself as a high-security server room. The outside temperature might be freezing, and the wind might be howling, but inside, the temperature is perfectly regulated, and the processing of data continues without interruption. This level of emotional independence is what creates a true professional presence. It allows you to walk into a room where everyone is losing their minds and remain the only one who can see the path forward clearly. This isn't about being cold or unfeeling. It's about being functional when functionality is most needed. By reviewing your day and consciously separating your worth from your results, you are installing a fail-safe in your mind. You are ensuring that even if tomorrow brings a total systemic collapse in your external circumstances, your internal fortress remains operational and unshakable. You are not the storm. You are the solid ground upon which the storm breaks. This is the highest form of professional maturity. It is the realization that your internal peace is a non-negotiable asset that cannot be traded for any amount of external validation or success. Rest now in the knowledge that your identity is independent of your results. You are becoming a person of gravity, a person who remains centered while the rest of the world rotates in frantic, unpredictable circles. In the competitive landscape of the 21st century, intellectual property is the most valuable asset a corporation can possess. It is the proprietary knowledge that creates a unique advantage in the market. However, few professionals realize that the most important intellectual property they own is their own cognitive resilience, the unique way they process information, handle pressure, and solve complex problems. Why aren't you unstoppable yet? Because you are allowing your mental IP to be corrupted by the malware of comparison and the viruses of superficiality. You are constantly looking at what others are doing, adopting their fears and mimicking their anxieties. This degrades your unique cognitive signature. The Stoic night routine is your system's integrity check. It is the time when you scrub your mind of the external influences that have attempted to colonize your thoughts during the day. Think of it as a deep cleansing of your internal database. You must ask, which of the thoughts I carried today were truly my own, and which were merely reflections of the crowd? Which of my fears were based on data, and which were based on the narrative of the masses? The unstoppable individual protects their mind with more vigor than a bank protects its vault. They understand that a clean mind is a fast mind. A mind that is free from the clutter of unnecessary emotions is a mind that can spot opportunities that others miss. Tonight, as the fire flickers, I want you to reclaim the intellectual property of your soul. You are not a commodity. You are a unique operating system designed for mastery. Every night that you spend in reflection is a night that you spend sharpening your proprietary edge. You are refining your judgment, strengthening your intuition, and hardening your resolve. By the time the sun rises, you will possess a level of mental clarity that is rare in the modern world. You will not be distracted by the latest trends or the loudest voices, because you will be operating from a deep well of internal wisdom that you have cultivated in the quiet. This is the secret to strategic longevity. While others are burning out by reacting to everything, you are building a repository of strength that allows you to act only when the time is right. You are becoming a person of substance, a person whose value is not found in their output, but in the quality of their thinking and the integrity of their character. In the realm of advanced software development, an algorithm is only as good as its consistency. It doesn't matter how brilliant a piece of code is if it only works 10% of the time. For code to be effective, it must be reliable, predictable, and scalable. Human character operates under the same laws of algorithmic consistency. If your virtue is only present when you feel good, or when you are being watched, or when the market is up, then you don't actually have character. You have a mood. Why aren't you unstoppable yet? Because your discipline is inconsistent. You have bursts of excellence, followed by long periods of mental drift. You are like an engine that keeps stalling because the fuel of your intention is contaminated by impulse. The Stoic night routine is where you refine your internal algorithm. It is the process of continuous integration and continuous deployment for your soul. Every night, you are reviewing the logs of your behavior from the last 16 hours. You are looking for the bugs in your code. Where did your temper override your logic? Where did your desire for comfort prevent you from doing what was necessary? Where did you deviate from your core programming of justice and wisdom? The unstoppable person doesn't wait for a crisis to fix their character. They debug their mind every single night. They treat their virtues like high-performance functions that must be optimized for speed and reliability. By doing this, you are turning excellence into a background process that runs automatically. Eventually, you won't have to try to be disciplined, or try to be calm, or try to be focused. It will simply be who you are. Your algorithm will be so well tuned that you will move through the world with a fluid, effortless authority. Tonight, as you listen to the rain, focus on the power of this habitual perfection. You are not just reflecting. You are training your subconscious to default to virtue. You are ensuring that tomorrow, when the pressure is on, your mind will automatically choose the path of the highest value rather than the path of the least resistance. You are becoming a reliable system in an unreliable world. This is the foundation of true leadership and the ultimate competitive advantage. While others are guessing, you are executing. While others are hesitating, you are operating according to a code that has been tested in the laboratory of the night. The most fundamental law of economics is the scarcity of resources. No matter how wealthy or powerful a person becomes, they cannot manufacture more time or more mental energy. Therefore, the secret to massive success is not just hard work. It is the superior allocation of these finite resources. To be unstoppable is to be a master of your internal economy. The reason you haven't reached your peak yet is that you are suffering from resource leakage. You are leaking your mental energy into conflicts that don't matter, into worries that have no basis in reality, and into a desperate need to control things that are fundamentally outside of your jurisdiction. This is like a company that spends 80% of its budget on marketing and only 20% on its product. You are spending your life on the superficial and leaving nothing for the essential. The Stoic night routine is your internal budgetary review. It is where you look at where your energy went today and determine the return on investment. If you spent 2 hours worrying about what a competitor thinks of you, what was the ROI? 0. If you spent 3 hours replaying a mistake in your head, what was the ROI? Negative. It actually cost you your peace and your sleep. The unstoppable person is a ruthless allocator of mental capital. They only invest their energy in things where they have a high degree of control and where the potential return is significant. Tonight, as the world fades into the shadows, I want you to perform a capital audit of your soul. Identify the thoughts and emotions that are draining your accounts without providing value. Close those accounts immediately. Write off the losses and move on. By practicing this level of extreme focus, you are building an internal treasury of strength that you can deploy when a real opportunity arises. You are learning that peace of mind is not just a luxury. It is the ultimate resource that allows you to think better, act faster, and endure longer than anyone else. Tomorrow you will move through the world with the calm of a billionaire who knows exactly what his assets are and isn't worried about the small fluctuations of the market. You are becoming a person of immense internal wealth, a person whose value is self-contained and self-sustaining. Rest deeply, knowing that you have reclaimed your resources and that your energy is now fully under your command. In the pursuit of greatness, most people are focused on the short-term sprint. They want the quick win, the immediate recognition, and the fast result. However, the most successful individuals and the most enduring empires are built on the principle of strategic longevity. They understand that it is not about who starts the fastest, but about who can maintain a high level of performance for the longest period of time. To be unstoppable is to be durable. The reason you aren't there yet is that you are still operating from a place of fragile ambition. Your drive is fueled by a desire to prove others wrong, or to escape a fear, or to achieve a certain status. These are dirty fuels that burn hot and fast but leave behind a residue of stress and exhaustion. They are not sustainable. The Stoic night routine is where you switch to clean fuel. It is where you align your ambition with the pursuit of virtue and the development of an indestructible character. This is the fuel of the immortals. When your drive is based on being the best version of yourself, it doesn't matter if the world applauds you or ignores you. Your motivation is internal, and therefore, it is inexhaustible. Tonight, as you prepare to cross the threshold into sleep, I want you to think about the legacy of your character. Think about the person you are becoming in these quiet moments of reflection. This is the real product of your life. Your bank account, your titles, and your possessions are just the byproducts. They are the debris that life leaves behind. Your character is the only thing that remains. By ending your day with this level of philosophical depth, you are ensuring your strategic longevity. You are building a mind that can survive the long winters of life and still flourish in the spring. You are becoming a person of historical weight, a person whose life has a narrative arc of consistency and strength. This is the true meaning of being unstoppable. It is not about a single victory. It is about the unwavering commitment to excellence that you demonstrate every single day and every single night. You are part of a lineage of masters who understood that the night is not just for rest, but for the cultivation of greatness. As you sink into the stillness of the night, feel the power of this long-term perspective. You are not in a rush, because you are building something that will last forever. You are becoming a monument of human potential, a person of depth and character that the world cannot help but respect. In the volatile world of high finance and global markets, liquidity is often more important than total assets. Liquidity is the ability to adapt, to move quickly, and to convert resources into action without loss of value. To be truly unstoppable, you must develop intellectual liquidity. The reason you feel stuck is that your mind has become rigid. You are holding on to legacy beliefs and outdated emotional positions that no longer reflect the reality of your environment. You are mentally over-leveraged in the past. The Stoic night routine is your process of achieving mental liquidity. It is the time when you consciously liquidate the rigid opinions and the stubborn certainties that have held you back during the day. An unstoppable individual is like a liquid. They can flow around any obstacle and fill any vessel, but they never lose their essential nature. They are adaptable but uncompromising in their core principles. Tonight, as you reflect on the frictions of the day, I want you to identify where you were too rigid. Where did your ego prevent you from seeing a better path? Where did your attachment to being right cost you the opportunity to be effective? By acknowledging these moments, you are breaking down the psychological calcification that slows down your decision-making. You are becoming a more agile version of yourself. In professional strategy, agility is the ultimate competitive advantage. It allows you to pivot when others are paralyzed by surprise. By practicing this decoupling from your own opinions every night, you are ensuring that your mind remains a fluid, high-speed instrument of execution. You are learning that your strength does not come from your rigidity, but from your ability to remain centered while everything around you is in a state of flux. This is the quiet power of the true professional. They do not fight the current. They use it. They do not resist the storm. They navigate it. As you settle into the stillness, feel the freedom of a mind that is no longer weighed down by the need to be certain. You are becoming a master of probability and a student of reality. You are clearing the path for a tomorrow where your actions will be as precise and as fluid as water. This is the mark of a sovereign mind, one that is liquid enough to adapt, but heavy enough to remain grounded in virtue. In the field of communications engineering and strategic intelligence, the most critical metric is the signal-to-noise ratio. The signal is the essential information, the truth, the mission, the data. The noise is everything else, the static, the interference, the irrelevant distractions. Why aren't you unstoppable yet? Because your signal-to-noise ratio is catastrophically low. You are spending 80% of your mental bandwidth processing noise, the drama of social media, the petty jealousies of colleagues, and the internal static of your own self-doubt. This makes your output weak and distorted. The Stoic night routine is your high-pass filter. It is the process where you intentionally dampen the noise and amplify the signal of your purpose. Before you sleep, you must perform a spectral analysis of your day's thoughts. You must ask, which of these thoughts were signal, aligned with my long-term mission and my core values, and which were merely noise, the static of a world that is desperate for your attention. An unstoppable professional is a master of focus. They have trained their minds to ignore the static of the marketplace and listen only to the clear, resonant frequency of their own integrity. Tonight, as the rain falls and the world fades, I want you to feel the static being filtered out of your system. You are recalibrating your internal receiver. You are deciding that tomorrow, you will not be a victim of the attention economy. You will be a generator of focused power. This level of signal clarity is what allows a great leader to see through the fog of war and Make the right call when others are overwhelmed by the chaos. It is the ability to stay focused on the essential while the trivial screams for attention. By practicing this filtering every night, you are hardening your mind against the distractions of the future. You are building a cognitive firewall that prevents the noise of the world from corrupting your internal data. You are becoming a person of deep clarity, a person whose intent is so pure and so focused that it becomes an irresistible force. Sleep now in the silence of a clean signal. Tomorrow, you will move with the confidence of a person who knows exactly what matters and has the discipline to ignore everything else. In the world of high-performance software, a nightly build is a process where the day's code is integrated, compiled, and tested in a clean environment. This ensures that the system is stable and ready for the next day's operations. Your subconscious mind performs a similar function during sleep. However, the quality of your nightly build depends entirely on the data you feed it in, the final 10 minutes before you cross the threshold. If you feed it anxiety, it will compile a tomorrow of stress. If you feed it discipline and virtue, it will build a tomorrow of power. To be unstoppable is to be a master programmer of your own subconscious operating system. The reason you feel like you are fighting against yourself is that your subconscious is still running malware, old programs of fear and unworthiness that you haven't bothered to overwrite. The Stoic night routine is your administrative override. It is the moment when you take manual control of the programming and dictate the parameters of your rest. You must consciously save the lessons of the day and delete the emotional residue that would otherwise contaminate your sleep. This is the professionalization of the human spirit. You are no longer leaving your psychological state to chance. You are engineering it for maximum efficiency. Think of your mind as an elite processing unit that never stops working. While your conscious mind sleeps, your subconscious is busy weaving the thoughts of the day into the fabric of your character. By ending your day with a deliberate review of your virtues, you are ensuring that the code of your character is being strengthened in the dark. You are turning your rest into a period of unconscious mastery. This is how the most successful people in history achieved their longevity. They knew how to make their subconscious work for them, not against them. Tonight, as you feel the weight of the day lifting, imagine your mind performing this deep integration. You are not just shutting down, you are upgrading. You are preparing your internal operating system to handle higher loads of pressure and more complex levels of responsibility. Rest in the knowledge that your system is being optimized. Tomorrow you will wake up with a new version of yourself, faster, stronger, and more resilient than the one that went to bed tonight. In the most disciplined financial organizations, managers use zero-based budgeting. Every new period starts at zero, and every single expense must be justified from scratch. Nothing is carried over simply because it existed yesterday. This prevents the accumulation of waste and ensures that resources are always aligned with current objectives. To be unstoppable, you must apply this to your emotional life. You must practice the zero-based budget of the spirit. The reason you feel burdened is that you are carrying a massive amount of emotional debt. Yesterday's anger, last week's embarrassment, and last year's regrets. You are trying to fund your future while paying interest on the mistakes of the past. This is a path to spiritual bankruptcy. The Stoic night routine is your debt consolidation and liquidation process. Before you sleep, you must settle all accounts. You must forgive yourself for your failures, not out of weakness, but out of strategic necessity. You cannot afford to carry the weight of yesterday's mistakes into tomorrow's battle. You must justify every emotion you choose to keep. If a memory of a failure doesn't serve as a valuable lesson, it must be discarded. If a grievance doesn't contribute to your justice, It must be written off. The unstoppable person starts every day at zero. They wake up without the carryover of past conflicts. This gives them an enormous advantage over those who are weighed down by the baggage of their history. Tonight, I want you to visualize your emotional ledger being wiped clean. You are clearing the debts. You are closing the files on every conflict and every disappointment that occurred today. You are returning to a state of tabula rasa, a clean slate. This is the ultimate act of self-governance. It is the realization that you are not your past. You are the sovereign creator of your present. By practicing this zero-based approach every night, you are ensuring that your spirit remains light and your mind remains agile. You are freeing up your internal resources to be fully deployed on the challenges of the coming day. Rest in the profound peace of a zero-sum soul. Tomorrow you will start fresh, with no debts to pay and no shadows to chase. You will be a new man, entering a new world, with the total capital of your spirit ready for action. As we reach the conclusion of this nightly ritual, it is time to issue the final executive order to your mind. Stoicism is not a passive philosophy. It is a system of active command. You are the commander of your soul, and the night is your final briefing before the next deployment. Why aren't you unstoppable yet? Because you haven't yet accepted the total responsibility that comes with your power. You are still looking for external solutions to internal problems. You are still waiting for the world to give you permission to be great. But the Stoic knows that permission is never given. It is taken. It is taken in the quiet moments of the night when you decide that you will no longer be a pawn in the games of others. It is taken when you decide that your character is your only true asset and your only true master. Tonight, as the fire dies down to embers and the rain becomes a distant whisper, I want you to commit to the infinite loop of mastery. This is the cycle of reflection, integration, and action that never ends. You are not seeking a destination. You are seeking a state of perpetual excellence. This video, this routine, this 10-minute audit, it is not a one-time event. It is the heartbeat of your new life. Every night that you return to this thinking pillow, you are adding another layer of armor to your fortress. You are adding another level of depth to your wisdom. You are becoming a person of such immense internal substance that the world will eventually have no choice but to yield to you. But that victory is not won in the light of day. It is won here, in the dark, in the silence of your own mind. This is where unstoppable is born. Rest now with the supreme confidence of a person who has mastered the most difficult terrain in existence, their own soul. You have audited your day. You have optimized your systems. You have cleared your debts, and you have set your signal. You are ready. The world will try to shake you tomorrow, but it will find only stone. It will try to distract you, but it will find only focus. It will try to break you, but it will find only the unbreakable logic of a Stoic mind. Close your eyes now. Let the deep rest of the warrior take you. You are no longer just a person who dreams of success. You are the architect who has already built it in the silence. The morning will come, and when it does, the world will finally meet the unstoppable force that you have become. Sleep in peace. Tomorrow, the empire of your life awaits its sovereign.